Hello everyone, my name is Mmanare Sebola and welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to my 181 subscribers. Thank you so much guys, the family is growing and I appreciate all of you so much. So today's Thursday and I'll be sharing yet another testimony with you guys, but today's going to be a bit different. I'll be also sharing, like, it's a testimony, right, but also slash story time, and that is because on Monday the 19th of July was my husband's birthday, but also it was our engagement anniversary. So I just thought I would share with you how I knew my husband was the one, and maybe you guys can learn a few things. Yeah, because I'm saying you can learn a few things because our love story is really made out of learning from other people's relationship and how they knew they were the one. And yeah, so I thought it will help somebody out there. So quick disclaimer, the Lord does not choose or force a partner for you, but if you ask him, he is led to help you choose a partner. Remember, Proverbs 3:5 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, because sometimes our understanding, if not always, our understanding is limited and we might become Samuels who only look at the outer appearance and think that Eliab is the next king of Israel, but the Lord looked at the heart and he chose David to be the next king of Israel. So sometimes, if not always, it's important to understand our limits and how the Lord, who is our potter, has made us and has placed purpose and destiny over our lives, and therefore he knows where we should go. And so when we ask him, he is led to show you the path. And so it's important to acknowledge that we fall short of knowing what is best for us, and we should ask him, who knows all things concerning our lives. I mean, he knows how many hairs we have on our head, so it's important to consult him and say, Lord, I don't even know that part of me, yet you know how many hairs are on my head. How do I then choose a partner without you? See, so it's important to ask him and he will be led. So that's our testimony today. Rather, that's how our testimony will go about how I knew that my husband was the one. So I met my husband in 2012 at church, and we weren't friends at all. I knew him because he was given the pulpit every now and then to share the word. I always described him as a deep, wise guy, because he's still really, really deep. Like, he'll speak something today and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I married a wise man. And I'm so forever grateful for that. So even since 2012, he'll share the word and I would always think, oh, this guy is deep. Ooh, this guy is wise, you know. And so that was all there was to it. So would go to church, come back, and really did not have any relationship with him. And then 2015, all of a sudden, I started developing feelings for this guy. What? How can I? You know, I just thought it was another crush, because over the years I had a lot of crushes, and I just thought, this too shall pass. But it was different because a lot of, when with the other crushes, when I would have my devotions or spend time with the Lord, like there would be leave this alone, you know, the Lord would just point this, just leave this alone. But with him, the more I prayed, the more I thought of him, and I thought, this guy, how does he even pace himself, you know, even in my prayer time with the Lord? I want to focus on the Lord, yet each time I focus on the Lord, the picture of this guy just becomes clearer and clearer, and I'm like, what is going on? So I tell my friend, I'm like, I like this guy so much, it's really bad. And yeah, like I did with any other crush, but this one is like, it's so different. I really like this guy. So we had a mission trip to Venda in 2015. And so it wasn't really a mission. It was like a conference. It was a fancy name for a conference, because that's all it was. And we went to the conference in Venda, and it was so beautiful. We learned a lot. But also the reason I went was because I wanted to see what kind of a guy he was, because I didn't know him. All I knew was a guy that preached the word every now and then. And really, I wasn't a big fan of the brothers that preached the word, because, you know, I don't even want to go into it. But if you have an experience with brothers that preached the word back then, you know what I mean. Like, some of them would preach so, but they lacked character. They would preach the word so, like, they were deep and they could preach, but they lacked character. So I just thought, I hope this is just not one of those people who knew the word and knew how to preach, knew how to teach, but were not deep, or rather in character, or lacked character. So I thought maybe I should take this this trip to see what kind of a person he was, so that I can spy on him and see how he relates with people, you know, and just put him under surveillance kind of thing. So we went to University of Venda, and on our way he was cracking jokes in the taxi, and I was like, I don't think this guy is that funny, but okay. And I'm like, this is him. I thought he was quiet. Now he's cracking jokes in the taxi for everyone to laugh. I wasn't sure about it. I was like, Lord, I don't think this one is the one. And so we got to University of Venda, and it was a beautiful conference. Then there was this guy. I don't remember his name, Jules or something, ne? He came and he sang. I don't know if it's Pastor Jules. I'm sorry if he's Pastor, but I remember him as Jules. And he sang the song. He said, I wrote the song a few years ago or months ago, whenever he wrote the song, I forgot. And he sang it, and he said, I need confirmation. You know, I need confirmation. The lyrics ran something about, I need confirmation. I need to know if she's the one. And yes, so when he sang that song, I'm like, Lord, that is what I'm here for. Confirmation. And I just thought that song was so fitting, and where I was in that time in my life, in the season that I was in, trying to figure out if this guy is really the one for me. And so when he sang it, I'm like, Lord, are you hinting that he is the one? And I still, to this day, I know for sure that the Lord was like check him out. And so I sat behind him when we got there. It was, I think, the Friday night, and then the Saturday night, I'm like those people that sit in one place every single time. So if I go to church, I sit in the same side the whole year. I don't know why. So when I sat behind him on the Friday night, I knew this would be where I sit throughout the conference. So he came and sat in front of me, and when we got in, he was sitting next to me and Garab. Well, Garab and I were sitting behind him. And so then they said, you know, get to know the person behind you, you know. And so another opportunity for me to get to, you know how the Lord orchestrates everything, and you know you're here to know this person, and then all of a sudden you guys sit next to each other, and then the person who's running the church program that day says, no, turn around, we're gonna have like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, so you guys get to know each other. Look, on any other given day, I do not like the, you know those songs, Mane Shushu, I used to dislike that song. I'm like, why should we go around shaking people's hands and greeting them? But in that day, I was so grateful. I'm like, Lord, you are doing this, aren't you? Because now I get to ask him questions, and he gets to ask me questions. So he turned, and, you know, I asked him how many siblings he had, where he's from, but he didn't answer any of my questions. He asked me how many siblings I had, where I was from, and whatnot. And he kept on dismissing my questions. This guy, here I am, I have an opportunity to ask him questions, I ask him questions, and then he does not reply. You know, so it's fine. The day went by, and then I think the next day came. I think we were there for 3 days, and so the night came, and I was like, no, but that guy did not answer my questions. So I look for him. I'm like, I'm going to look for this guy. And then so I was looking for him, and he was nowhere to be found. And then finally I found him. I'm like, guy, you know, you did not answer my questions. And then he's like, Yeah, you know, and then we had a little conversation there, and then it was too loud in the hall, and it's like, let's go sit outside. I'm like, oh my gosh, don't tell me he's one of those guys. Why are we going to sit outside? But I did not say no, because I like to, I mean, I'm there to get to know the guys, so obviously I said yes. So we went to sit outside under a tree, and I had, till this day, the best conversation with the guy. It was literally, no jokes. It was so beautiful. I was like, is this even possible? And we just started sharing our life stories with each other. And at some point he kept saying, I don't know why I'm telling you this. I've never told anyone. I don't know why I'm telling you this. And in my heart, I'm like, look, God, I prayed. You know, I'm here to know you. So obviously you're going to be telling me things that nobody else knows because I prayed. And that's exactly what happened. And so we just chatted there, and it was so beautiful. It was beautiful. And then it was time to go, so we were interrupted because we needed to go back to our rooms. And I was like, oh man, I wish this could last forever, just sitting here with this guy and just talking. Even today, now I'm married, my favorite moments with my husband is when we're just sitting and we're dreaming together and we're having these conversations, and sometimes uncomfortable conversations, but I really like talking to my husband. I really do. And so we went back to our rooms, and I was like, butterflies, everything, I'm in love, this is it, thank you Jesus, hallelujah. You know, I got here, I saw what I was looking for, this is the guy for me. Little did I know that that might not be the case. So went to sleep, and I'm like, whew. And then the next day, so little did I know that that might not be the case, because the next day I was told, no, that guy's girlfriend saw you with the guy, saw you with him, and she was not happy. And so I'm thinking, this guy has a girlfriend, Lord, why did you allow me to come here to see whether or not this guy is the one for me, only to be told that he has a girlfriend? I am not going to, you know, take another guy away from, I mean, I'm not going to break this relationship. I'm not going to be the problem or a problem in their relationship. So I thought, I guess this is not it. I was so hurt. I went back, I cried. I remember I joined the intercession when we came back from University of Venda that Sunday, and there was the guy again. I'm like, Lord, why? When people were praying, I was crying. Like, I was not imploring, I was not interceding, I was just crying before the Lord and just saying, Lord, my heart is hurting. And so I called my friend, and I just told her, like, I'm hurting right now. And so that was it. You know, I was like, okay, because I had to go back to my practicals, because I was not on campus. I had to go back to my practicals. And so I was like, okay, that's it. I guess, you know, this is like, because I didn't have his numbers or anything. Not have his contacts. Obviously that's his numbers, but also I did not know his name, how to spell his name. Excuse me. And how am I going to reach this guy, right? I don't know myself. I didn't know at that time. And so life went by, and then I get a friend request on Facebook, and it was him. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, I can't say yes, he's got a girlfriend. I'm like, but it's not like he's asking me out. He's just, you know, friend request on Facebook. I'm like, okay, let me just accept it. I accepted it. And I was like, I'm not going to lead this guy on. Like, that's it. He asked for my number. I gave him my number. I'm like, I'm ready for him to say anything that he shouldn't say concerning us starting a relationship. But also I was like, maybe the guy does not feel the same way. He just wants to check up on me, because we really did have a good conversation that night. So so he called me, and guys, I was on Cell C for so long. But as soon as he told me that he used Vodacom, and like each time he'll call me, our calls will be cut short, I was like, noise. I'm buying a Vodacom SIM card. I need to talk to this guy. And so I bought a Vodacom SIM card, and we started talking. So I switched from Cell C to Vodacom because of a guy. I can't believe it. And so we started talking, and yeah, it was all good and well. But at the same time, I'm like, man, just guard your heart. Just guard your heart, because you know he's got a girlfriend. And then I was like, but Lord, this guy is so perfect. Why does he have a girlfriend? You know? And I'm like, but he's got a girlfriend and you need to respect their relationship. So this day, I call him and I say to him, hi, how are you? And as the conversation went by, I asked him, what is the Lord doing in your life? What is the Lord teaching you? Yes, I had my deep days. I used to ask deep questions. And so I asked him that question, and he says to me, look, there's a girl in my life and we are not in a relationship. But to people, it looks like we're in a relationship because we are that close. And I just realized I've been pouring what's not meant to grow. That's the words he's used. I've been watering what's not meant to grow. And we are not in a relationship. Each time I ask her out, she doesn't say yes. But people think we're in a relationship. And so the Lord has just been saying, end this, because actually, yeah, just end it, because it's not meant to grow. And so it's like that's what the Lord has been doing in my life. I hung up, called my friend. I'm like, friend, guess what? He's not in a relationship. Maybe that girl thought they were in a relationship because it looked like, they were in a relationship. But he was just saying, it looked like we're in a relationship because we spend a lot of time together. But she never said yes. Each time I'm like, but how do you define our relationship? She would never say yes or we are dating. We'll be like, no, we're not dating. But she just wanted me here, and really there was no label to it. So he's like, I've been watering what's not meant to grow. And I'm like, friend, guess what? He does not have a girlfriend. I mean, I celebrated with my friend. I was jumping on the bed, listening to the song, when Jesus says yes, now up and down. I'm like, Michelle, thank you for the song. And we hung up, and so I was like, okay, at least I'm not taking anyone's girlfriend, because really that's not my style. I mean boyfriend, because really that is really not my style. So life went by and we started just continuing to talk and talk and talk. So how did I know that he was the one? I remember a few years ago I had gone to a church conference, School of Love, and the pastor there said to us that his wife knew that he was the one before he asked her out, and she had dated it down in her diary. And I'm like, Lord, even me, I want that, And so when we started talking with my husband, I knew when I went to University of Venda and I came back, and when he confirmed that they were not in a relationship, that for me was like, this is it, this is the guy for me. So I was just waiting for him to ask me out. So we take walks and we talk, and then I'll be like, this guy is taking his time, like, what's going on? I know you're the one. Just hurry up and do something about it. And so eventually he asked me out, and I told him, look, I knew before you asked me that you were the one, because I had asked the Lord to show me who my husband is, or direct my steps to the person who helped me fulfill destiny and purpose. And the Lord allowed me to come to have our paths meet. So that was me, because of their last story, helped me pray that prayer. Secondly, I'd gone to a church conference. I learned a lot from church conferences. I'm just going to let you know from the onset, because you'd hear that a lot of things that helped me know that he was the one I got from church conferences. So second church conference, we were at a youth conference, and the pastor there was telling us to have signs. And so trust in the Lord with a sign that if he is the one for me and the one you've allowed to come into my life, can he do this and that and this and that. So with my husband, I kept, like, it was so simple, guys. Bazalwan, Christians know, like, my sign was so simple. I thank God that it was honored, but also I was like, Christian guys, you know, Lord, it was like the Lord did not allow me to not have it. But I'm like, I've been asked so many times, but none of them wasn't this way. And my son was that my husband must come and ask me out face to face. Yes, simple, right? Everyone else in my life that has come up ever asked me out through WhatsApp, Facebook. Can you believe it? I'm like, guys, be creative a bit. Okay, but if you guys were asked out through your inbox and your WhatsApp, it's fine. It's your life journey and it's good. For me, I just did not want that to be, you know, our story. And so I knew before he asked, and then secondly that I had a sign, and that was the sign. But also there was peace. There was this overwhelming peace that each time I prayed about it, the Lord gave me peace. When I thought of him, the Lord gave me peace. And I always knew that I was going to meet him. Like, before we dated, if I went out of my room, like, I knew I was going to meet him somewhere. And it's either I'll meet him at the gate, or meet him, you know, next to the library, or wherever. I always knew that I'm going to meet him. The knowing, but I knew that I was going to meet him. So that is me giving you guys how I knew he was the one. I mean, I always like, Lord, what are you saying about this guy? Are you saying this is I don't want to get it wrong. And the thing about the Lord is that he will allow you to be certain. Like, there's no priority, do it now, or, you know, you lose him forever. No, that's not how God operates. And that's not how your husband should pressurize you, if ever he is the one. Or your wife should pressurize you, if he is the one. Because there are people who will be like, I want to get married, Ceci. Are you saying yes or no? Because I want to move on to them. Let him move on, if that's the case. Because they can't pressurize you like that. You should be so certain that you're like, give me time, or I'm praying about it, or whatever. Because with me, the Lord was so patient. I'll be like, are you saying this is it? Are you saying he's the one? And until I was 100% sure, with so many confirmations, I'll be like, he confirmed it. He confirmed. That the moment I said yes to him, I knew for sure that this is the guy in my dreams. And I'm so happy in my marriage. Like, when people ask me how marriage is, sometimes I feel like, oh, they're gonna think that I'm lying because of how a marriage has been tainted, or it's not what you think. And I'm like, no, but marriage is so beautiful, especially when your standard is Christ. And I thank God that we uphold that standard, and how Christ loves his bride. And my husband thrives to be, you know, like Christ in that instance, and love his bride. And I feel so loved by my husband, and it's so easy for me to submit. I think over the years, few years ago, if you were to ask me if I'd ever submit, I had a problem with that, because I just felt like Christian guys would be like, yeah, you must submit. There was this other time at a prayer session, and some guy says to me, we were sitting, all of us are sitting, and I was the chairperson of the youth, so I'm like, let's just be clear. And then he says to me, aren't you gonna make us tea? And I look around, I realize I'm the only girl in that group. And I'm like, but I'm the chairperson. I mean, if we were going to talk about leadership, you guys should serve your leader. Obviously, leaders are called to serve more. But I'm just saying, really, look, why do you choose me to make tea? Everybody's sitting down. The kettle is there, the cookies are there, the sugar is there. Like, and what people describe as submission is not necessarily what I experience as submission in my marriage. In fact, it's so easy for me to serve my husband. In fact, I enjoy serving my husband. I enjoy just being under his leadership. I trust that he's leading this family where it needs to go. I trust in the wisdom that the Lord has given him concerning this family. I trust in the capacity he carries to lead us in integrity. And for me, when people ask how marriage is, I'm like, marriage is beautiful, marriage is fantastic, and it as it should. Guys, I just want to say this my story is not a standard. and don't think I'm placing myself as a standard for how things should be for you. No. That's not what this is. This is just me sharing my testimony and how I got to know that my husband is the one. You can use one or two things there and there, but really this is not a standard. And I hope you understand that, because your story is not going to be like my story. Like my story is not like other people's stories. So yes, let us be clear. Our story or our love journey is not the standard, and just allow your love journey to unfold as the Lord wants it to unfold, and enjoy the beauty and the uniqueness of your love story. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. Don't forget to like, to subscribe. Till next time, bye bye.